Ray, good morning. How are you?
I'm good. What's up with you, Dan?
Well, I was curious about your game because I saw where I think you were playing with Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Is that correct?
Yeah, we played the last 2 days.
All right. Any trash talking between you two?
No, Aaron's very, very low key. Like he's a trash talker when he's winning. So I got to make sure that I keep pouring it on him. But we've had some pretty good matches over the years. So we look to keep it going. We always have a running tally throughout the weekend too when the tournament starts.
Now, you see how his size, how do you think you would fare in the NFL? If you look at Aaron Rodgers, I don't know what, you're taller than him. He probably weighs more than you. How do you think you would fare with those hits in the NFL?
Well, even now, my playing weight, I'm about 10 to 12 pounds under my playing weight in the NBA, so I'm very slim. My body doesn't require, all the food that I put into it and the constant lifting every single day. So you take that weight that I had, which is I'm about 208, 209 going into a game. To play football for me, I would probably have to be 220, 225.
Yeah.
That would mean a lot more lifting and definitely a lot more eating. So right now at my weight, I get broken up in the NFL.
But you faced a lot of big guys, including Shaq. So the most physical guy, like, did you take a charge against somebody you never should have taken a charge?
Yes, and I still remember it very vividly too.
Okay.
It was a bad idea. This was my rookie year, and I just remembered, just trying to be on the good side of the coach. I was never really a charge taker, and I just seen this guy, big guy, come down the lane, and he had hands like the size of one of his hands was both the size of my both hands, and he palmed the ball and came down the lane. It was Otis Thorpe, and I caught myself getting in the middle of it. He just went up, and it was like he put his knee into my chest, and that was like that moment when you learn early in your career what you're not going to do ever again.
Yeah, but I remember the worst one when Mark Jackson was trying to take a charge on Tom Chambers, and Chambers,
yeah.
Like, that was one of the nastiest dunks in traffic of all time.
Yeah, and to this day as a kid, that's one of the dunks that I seen Tom Chambers a couple months ago. When I seen him immediately, that's the first thing I thought of because he's probably, that's one of the top 10 dunks of all time, and most people don't remember that it was Mark Jackson. So, the little guys, you have to deal. You mess with those big guys, and big guys can jump. You stand around the rim, like it's not the territory for you to be in. So you got to make sure that you know who can jump and who's a dunker, because otherwise, now, Dan, it's so much tougher because if you get dunked on now, we always say social media is undefeated. Like you'll be a meme so fast, you don't want to be dunked on by somebody.
I'm curious, a couple of basketball questions here that now we're viewing Golden State. It's not fair that they're bad for basketball. What is your take as a former player looking at what Golden State has done and just did in the offseason with Boogie Cousins?
Well, I mean, listen, the salary cap is what it is. Players will move however they choose to move. But, the one thing I've always said as a player, like, anybody who gets a salary, who can afford to get paid, we shake his hand and congratulate him because it certainly opens up the door for the future generation of players coming to the league. So now it's up to the rest of the league to somewhat adjust to it. That's kind of how it is. The game adapts. It kind of natural selection. So everybody else, we have to adjust to it. The players have a choice to be able to go where they want. They become free agents. Everybody makes different choices. And for me, I was in a similar situation. You decide to go where you want, and that's your choice. So, what they're capable of doing, hey, we applaud them. They've won 3 in the last 4 years. So, now it's up to a team to step up and kind of dismantle who they are.
But we also, I know that Durant got criticism for leaving Oklahoma City to go to Golden State. You got criticism for going from Boston to Miami. How is there an easy way to do? LeBron's not getting criticized by going to the Lakers, but he's not going to a team that's going to be playing for a title here in the next year or two. Is it fair that you and Durant got criticized for leaving teams to go to a team that, would be considered one of the favorites, if not the favorite?
Well, the interesting thing is, most people who criticize me, they always said that if I went to Phoenix, they would have been okay with it. So my choice makes them feel better as long as I don't go somewhere where they don't like or where they don't feel bad about where I ultimately am, where I have an opportunity to win. The whole objective for us is, as individuals, as free agents, as athletes, as businessmen, is to go somewhere where potentially maybe you can make more money or you have a chance to win. So I just don't understand the dilemma or the confusion. Every player in professional sports is trying to win. And when you have that opportunity, that's what you're supposed to do. We've been on bad teams, most of us. And when you have that opportunity, you make the decision to go somewhere you win. And at the end of the day, you can criticize them for it, but I guarantee you every person that criticizes them when faced with the situations that they're put in, play 82 games and win 30, 35, 40% of your games, 45%, 50% if you're on a good team, to know you can win more. That's ultimately what we're here to do, is to win games. And I don't criticize anybody who wants to win.
I have a theory about the Lakers, and I want to know what you think.
Mm-hmm.
I think the Lakers should design a team that is the exact opposite of the Warriors, because nobody can play the Warriors style better than the Warriors. So why are we trying to build rosters that are similar in style to the Warriors? So if I get physical guys, I get defensive guys, that's where I'm going to start. I may not beat the Warriors, but I know I'm not going to beat them at their own game. I'm going to beat them up. What do you think?
Well, the interesting part is that's not necessarily a bad idea when you think about how the Eastern Conference plays and how the Western Conference plays. For most of my years, I don't know numbers-wise, but I always felt like I scored easier when I was playing against Western Conference teams, or certainly when I played in Seattle. So when you have that opportunity, it's a much more open system. So the way Golden State plays, they have a freer way of playing, and that's kind of transformed into the rest of the NBA because, that's what just to your point, they're trying to figure out ways to beat this team. So they're trying to join them in the way they play. But, one thing that we always did whenever we went out west, any team I played on, was we tried to clog the paint and we tried to double team the ball and make their big playmakers get rid of the ball and make somebody else beat you. Mm-hmm. What I see a lot of how, Golden State plays is they never contribute to the ball. When Steph has the ball, when Clay has the ball, both guys are great in pick and rolls. When Kevin Durant has the ball, tremendous scorer, and, the argument will be made, well, he's just going to pass to somebody else. Well, I'm scouting each individual player and reading their plays. The person who, the three beats you, a two all day long, but I'm getting them off the three-point line. I'd rather them take tough twos. So you're right. Defensively, if you build a team that can counter everything that they do, I think you stand a better chance long term. And then you have guys that know how to move the ball and still can shoot a little bit. You don't have to be the greatest shooters in the world, but just defensively, if you keep them from winning, because now we're in the segment in the NBA where offense is winning championships, not defense.
You at your best versus Steph Curry at his best. Who's a better shooter?
I always compare myself, how I played more to Klay Thompson. Just watching Steph, he's somewhat in a world of his own, because the way he's got great handles and he has the ball, 80% of the time. So,
but just a shooting contest, just shooting contest. It's you, Klay, Steph. You pick your spot. Who's the better shooter out of you three?
Again, I think it'll be a hell of a shooting contest. But what I would do is I would put them on the move. That was the one thing that I always tried to hone in on, is kind of moving, because they're both not standstill shooters, but moving backwards, moving left to right, front to back in threes, and both of them could do that well. But that is really where you see shooting at its finest, because the three-point contest is fun and it's interesting, but imagine if you adapted a contest where you just didn't stand there and shoot the ball. You had to start in one position to get to the next spot and then shoot and then make that shot.
I like
that. Would be a much more interesting contest.
I like that. I'll leave you with this. The defender you would like to see one more time and the defender that you never want to see again would be who?
I mean, the easiest for me is Bruce Bowen. I don't ever want to see him again. Like, Bruce Bowen was like, you know, he was, and you know, Pop would be over the sideline and he would be apologizing, like, you know, you okay? And I was like, and then I could see him come out of timeout whispering in his ear, go get him, go get him, go get him, like frustrate him. Like,
are you okay?
Bruce was designated, you know, no matter what was happening on the floor, he was designated strictly for guarding me. He wouldn't look at the rebound, the ball went up. He just always made sure that he sat in my lap. So he's definitely somebody that I don't ever want to see again.
Okay, who's the defender that you would love to just have one more game against? Come on, be honest, Ray. You're done.
I don't know. I mean, I honestly, Dan, there were not too many people that I felt, you know, could get in front of me, because I like to tire people out. I like to move up and down, and a lot of guys, they had to be committed. And, you know, starting off the game, I could tell certain guys, if they were going to commit to running all day long, even if I knew I wasn't going to get the ball.
Come on, Ray, give me one guy that you couldn't wait to get to that city because you knew he was going to be guarding you.
I mean, I got to think about that. That's it. I'm going to be on a golf course thinking about that, and I hope I don't hit the ball into the trees when I.
Like if Steve Nash was guarding you, I mean, come on, right? You could torch Steve Nash.
Well, I mean, I you know what? I guess not just Steve Nash, because Steve didn't guard me, but I would say more Raja Bell. You know, because that's a great question, because even when we played the Suns,
yeah,
I swear I lost 6 pounds that game because they ran so much. And so it was fun to go up and down because the ball was going in the air. We were shooting threes. We were taking the first shot available. So I would say that's a fair shot. I would say, you know, with Raja Bell, because he was a tough defender. No matter how many shots I made, he came right back at me every single time. So he was certainly somebody I look forward to playing against.
If I blindfolded you from the free throw line, how many do you think you could make out of 100?
Out of 100?
Yeah.
Damn. I mean, do I get to stop and take a break? I don't know if I can shoot 100 blindfolded.
All right, I'm going to do. I want to know what your percentage would be if you shot a total of 100 free throws blindfolded, and I did it in 20 increments of 20. In increments of 20, I would say out of 10, let's start with 10. I'd make 7 out of 10. Okay.
And then,
so you're blindfolded, Ray, and you shoot better than guys who can actually see.
Yeah, because, you know, the one thing about basketball, and I've learned this, is that the court doesn't change. You know, there's no elements, you know, wind, rain. You know, I shoot that free throw line every single day after every drill, every routine. And really, whenever I'm in a slump or, you know, I can't get my timing, I go to the free throw line. So a lot of times, you know how the ball needs to leave your fingers. You put your foot on the nail at the free throw line. So it's just really getting the ball in the air and sitting it on that rim soft enough. So even if you don't swish it, the ball will have a chance to go in.
Yeah, that's how we, the great ones, do it, Ray.
No, it takes a lot of work. And tell you what, when you're retired, you don't have to sit back and have nightmares about it every single day. I got to tell you this. I could be watching a college game or an NBA game the night before a game, and I see one player miss a free throw, and that's going to have me have a bad night. Because I'm thinking, I do not want that to be me. I don't want it to be me.
But, Ray, you're not playing anymore.
That's why I said in retirement, that's the beautiful thing about having those nightmares not exist anymore. Like, I don't have to worry about it. That you want to perform.
But when you go to the line and it's quiet in the gym and everybody's watching, and would you rather have it dead silent or people yelling and screaming as you go to the line with the game on the line?
Well, that's interesting because, you know, I'm in the gym all day long where it's dead quiet. You know, before, 9 in the morning, 8 in the morning, before a game. You know, I'm always by myself shooting free throws. So when it's game time, I go back to that moment in my head. you kind of stay into yourself. You focus on, your hand, your ball, where your feet need to be. You focus on the rim. You really clear the people out of your mind. And you just do what you've been doing. And so what you have to do when you're by yourself is you have to almost bring those people into the building with you while you're shooting so you can get familiar in that situation. So it's a weird way of imposing people in and out of your existence while you're competing. So, that's the only way you can do it great, especially down the stretch when it comes to being down 2 and you have to make 2 free throws. It's like you can see that guy step to the free throw line like, oh no, he doesn't look too good stepping up these free throws.
You don't have to worry about that anymore, though, Ray. Have fun this weekend out there in Tahoe, and we appreciate your time as always.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it.
That's Ray Allen, 2-time NBA champ, 10-time All-Star, going into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV or download the Dan Patrick Show app.